Hello, and welcome to my final project presentation for Info 244, Online Searching. This presentation serves as a companion to the training guide I created to instruct students enrolled in an educational grant writing course in how to search several of the top educational databases. In the training guide, students learn about H.W. Wilson's Education Full Text database on the EBSCOhost platform. In this presentation, I will provide a brief summary of the training guide content alongside a discussion of how the guide was designed to meet the needs of its target audience. The presentation will conclude with a description of my plan for implementation and assessment of the efficacy of the training guide. To begin with, the intended audience of this training guide is a group of professional educators and administrators interested in honing their grant writing skills. The specific research skills focus of the course is twofold: finding sources of grant funding that meet their educational objectives and using research-based evidence to bolster support for their grant proposals. The training guide focuses on the latter and does not presume that enrollees have recent experience in database searching. In order to keep the learning guide to less than 5 minutes, I created a scenario in which the Education Full Text Training Guide was one of a 3-part series that explored 3 top databases. In the previous training guide, enrollees learned about ERIC via ProQuest, with a specific emphasis on combining Boolean operators and proximity operators to improve recall and precision. In the current training guide, enrollees learn about Education Full Text via EBSCOhost and how to use a thesaurus, and in the final installment, enrollees will explore Education Research Complete and how to build search sets. The current training guide reminds students of strategies from the previous training guide, including using the database help pages to learn correct search procedures, offers scope information on Education Full Text content, and provides a demonstration for using a thesaurus. Students watch as authorized subject terms are identified by browsing the thesaurus, how to use scope notes to determine if the subject term is relevant, when and how to explode terms, and how to add terms to a search query using Boolean operators. I remind students to check the query syntax for the desired use of parentheses in grouping terms before searching. Finally, when looking at the results list, I show students the various limiters available to further refine their searches. As the facilitator of this course, my goal is for enrollees to have a finished grant proposal by the end of the term. With that in mind, I want students to have as much time as possible to practice their new research and writing skills during class time. In-the-moment feedback and coaching has been shown by numerous educational researchers, including John Hattie's meta-analyses of over 800 educational studies, to be one of the most impactful ways to help boost student achievement. Hence, by providing students with asynchronous tutorials to view before class sessions, I free up class time for individual coaching aimed at building students' skills and understandings. The training guides will be made available to students once we have completed initial coursework in defining goals and objectives and projected benefits of their projects, as well as identifying potential grant funding sources. At this point, students will be ready to write and refine their grant proposals by including current relevant educational research. Over the course of 3 class sessions, students will have the opportunity to try new skills in each platform and transfer skills from one platform to another. As this is a project-based class, there will be no summative assessment of students' searching skills. Rather, as the facilitator, I will use feedback and coaching to help students get the most out of their database searches. Peers will act as grant proposal reviewers, using the criteria and rubrics provided by the funding organizations to provide feedback on the relevance and justifications provided in the proposal, especially as they pertain to cited academic research. As facilitator, I will also provide feedback in this area. Students will also be asked to reflect on their learning from the training guides. This will include narrative assessment of search strategies they found to be effective and those they were still having difficulty with or did not find effective. Students will also be asked to provide feedback on how to improve the training guides as well. Finally, after any further research and revisions are complete, students will be ready to submit their grant proposals to the actual audience they have been preparing for. As many grant committees assess proposals in terms of how strongly the case was made for the stated needs, the methods to be employed, and the evaluation of efficacy, students will receive authentic feedback from their target audience on their application of their researching skills learned in class, since all of these areas are well served by the addition of relevant academic literature. Thank you for this opportunity to test out my skills in creating learning guides for students using academic databases.